There we go. Hopefully I should be back online now. Sorry about that little issue, everyone. There we go. Everything is good and in the hood. Welcome back, everybody. Apologies for that slight issue. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened there, but we should be back live now on Twitch, and if we have any issues moving forward, I should hopefully get these resolved slightly quicker. Apologies that the stream was briefly interrupted, but we are back with everything now. As we see expansion going to the top floor site as their first one. Do seem to be maybe having a few issues with internet and everything. Hopefully they resolve themselves as we move forward, as we see the side of Counteract going onto the roof, getting some drones into sight, making sure that they can find out where everybody exactly is. Yeah, my bitrate is just being a bit of a poo, if I'm honest. It's not being great. Hopefully the stream stays live and everything though, as we see 4 members of Counteract gathering around this red hatch, getting it open, getting all that utility in place where required, putting a Nomad device at the midpoint of the red stairs. With all 4 of these Counteract members being so closely packed together, it could quite easily turn into a very easy C4 kill. However, nothing coming out yet on the side of expansion, obviously not realising quite where the players of Counteract are currently placed. Yeah, apologies everybody that the stream sort of did screw itself slightly. Hopefully everybody that was watching previously is now back in. Do drop me a message if you are. Only got 3 people in at the moment. Hopefully we get a few more as we move forward, as we see Connor starting to take the cigar lounge. The Capcan being on the board, so Connor sees the Capcan trap and gets rid of that. We see takes a little bit damage as he enters in, maybe stood a little bit too close to that C4. But a C4, as I speak to it, coming out go from below, the only room playing beneath, as Cade managed to pick up the first kill of this game, putting Counteract into a 4v5 situation. Connor, of course, playing on that red stairs, watching below for a flank, making sure nobody's coming up towards him. Fair enough. If you say so, Mitsu. I know Connor droning out now for his team as the 4 remaining members of Counteract decide exactly how they're going to be pushing into this site with 45 seconds left on the clock. I was about to say 45 minutes. But hey ho. Anyway, you see the Zofia of Little Dark playing on the roof as Connor pushes in and picks up the first kill on his side, picking up the head of Madgun. He's pushed really deep into the bar here. Do expansion know exactly where he is? This allows Weasty to get in sight and begin that plant. A C4 coming out though. Will it be countered? No, as Weasty actually gets headshot by Plasma, who managed to shoot him through the wall. 15 seconds left on the clock. It's shot now, swapping onto that plant.
10 seconds to go.
Kian playing below, looking maybe for a C4 as Connor picks up the head of the room, and they manage to get the diffuser down. 3 versus 2 now as Kian starts pushing up the red stairs, looking for that flank. Shots land from the Zofia of Little Dark. And it's now all up to Plasma, left in a 1v3 situation. Shots coming out from Little Dark, not quite been able to connect as Plasma plays at the end of the long bar. Rotates into Freezer, can't speak all of a sudden. Gets seen by the Zofia though, shots coming out. More damage being done to the Zofia, but a pinch from all 3 remaining members of Counteract puts Plasma on the floor behind the bar. Obviously he's been drinking too much and puts him out of this round, securing round number 1 for Counteract. A good strong performance there coming out on the side of Counteract, of course. Maybe not looking in the best of positions when that early C4 came out, collecting Unique through the floor. However, they were able to spring back from this, managed to push in sight, get that control that they needed, and eventually get that plant down and pick off the kills as needed when people were pushing in, eventually resulting in them getting the round win. Well played to Counteract so far. Apologies everybody for the slight issues that we had at the beginning of this stream. I don't quite know why everything crashed on me. But yeah, for some reason my stream manager stopped. My PlayStation was like, oh, an error has occurred, but it decided to tell me after the fact. So unfortunately I wasn't able to resolve it quite as quickly as I maybe would have liked to. But at least you didn't miss most of the action. It was just a slight delay between the pre-game show and the actual game that we have now started. Hopefully try and get a few more people into the chat as the game continues, but we'll see what happens.
Attackers have located a bomb. 10 seconds left.
Apologies everyone. We're just putting another thing in the Discord to try and get a few more people tuning in to today's stream. After all, we want as many of you in here witnessing this game as possible. Expansion deciding to go for this top floor again, deciding that, you know what boys, last time we didn't exactly play this very well, but this time we will get a better hold on it. Putting up reinforcements in the pretty standard places. You have the one reinforcement here on the cocktail wall. You've got one going into freezer here, but with a rotate to allow members of the defending team to go in and out. So you also have a rotate that allows them to get into the bathroom. All the walls into cigar have been reinforced apart from these ones here, which are left soft so that sprays can come through onto default plant spots that are normally around here. Of course, with this setup, we'll see exactly what Counteract want to be doing this time on their attack. Of course, seeming to start off in a very similar fashion to before, getting the Maverick of its shot to open the hatch. Shots coming out, though, from the Jaeger. Doesn't quite manage to land onto Shot, but he was very dangerously about to lose his head there, as Weasty picks up an early kill onto the Oni room from the skylights. Bit of nifty drone work there, probably. Meant that he could safely peek that hatch and take the head off the Oni room, who's playing the Jaeger, aggressively watching that skylight. Of course, last time we saw this team of Counteract being able to come away with the win when they were a man down early on. This time we see them with a man up. Can they? Does this mean we're going to see an even bigger win on their side? And it seems though that excuse me, or something stuck in my throat. It seems though that, of course, commentator's curse has meant that Little Dark is being picked up by Kian Frank, who is playing below on the Capcan. He does have a C4 in play, so could go for that C4 from below later on in the round. However, at the moment it doesn't look like Counteract is ready to start going for that plant just yet. Maybe at the point when the plant does go down, the Capcan will rotate across and try and get C4 onto whoever is planting. But we see Connor playing below, trying to find his Capcan, sees him, manages to get the down onto him, secures the kill and puts Counteract ahead 4 versus 3 with 50 seconds left on the clock. Still 2 C4s though in the hands of Madgun and Johnson Souza. Both of these could come in crucial if they are placed right on the top of the planter's head as he's trying to get it down in the last few seconds of the round. It's Shot as though is pushed up here, and he sees Lucy run out and manage to collect the kill onto Johnson Souza. Sees a Capcan trap, takes it out, and also sees another body on the cocktail bout. Misses a few of those shots, but so does Plasma. Plasma, of course, coming off slightly worse than its shots here. Can he get the kill, though? There was a Jaeger in play, but did they have an ADS at this point? Looks like they maybe didn't. Oh, they did. Fortunately, Plasma walks away with his life, maybe getting a little bit scared there. 15 seconds left on the clock, though. Weasty has to go in and do something, but all of a sudden, Counteract just wake up and push in and get the 2 last picks that they needed to secure the round for them. Seems that the timing was pretty much spot on right there for the last 3 remaining, well, 2 of the remaining members of Counteract to get those kills as required. Either way, they also had a bit of time to maybe start pressing the issue by planting that diffuser. Not required though in the end, as they managed to pick up the last 2 remaining players of Expansion as they push on into Freezer. Going into round number 3 now, 2 points on the board for Counteract. Certainly living up to the predictions that have been put out in their favour so far. Most people thinking that Counteract will walk away with the win from this one. That is normally both games.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
So we'll see exactly where we end up at the end of this. Expansion now opting, since they've lost the top floor site twice now in a row, to instead try their luck downstairs in the kitchen freezer, or kitchen dining. I'm not exactly sure what the second site is called. All I know is that it's called kitchen. Kitchen or kitchen service, there we go. Kitchen cooking and kitchen service, in fact. Anyway. The setup coming out here from Expansion, looking pretty much standard so far. The Capcan being bought on the board there by Johnson Souza. Not necessarily the most expected pick that you'd see coming out from most teams, but they've made it work so far and in previous matches. Of course, those Capcan traps can do between 40 to 60 damage to an operator, depending on the armor rating of it. And late round, if they haven't been taken out and they're close on sight, then as people push in, they could very easily lose that last bit of life they have remaining, and they could come in clutch. However, we'll see exactly how useful they are so far. A Rook also being bought out on the side of Key and Frank, bringing with that 2x scope on top of it. One of the few operators on defense that actually has a semi or full auto weapon that is allowed a 2x scope. I mean, it can be quite strong for holding those incredibly long angles and also pixel angles and actually getting the visibility that you might not be able to on some of the other operators. But of course, no spawn peaks coming out so far from Kian. Seems that Counteract is deciding to go for a top floor clear. It's shots opening up the hatch there, but not quite realising how close the Valkyrie is playing in Train Museum below. This is the Valkyrie of Madden. He gets spotted this time though by Connor. Shots don't quite connect. Maybe Connor thought he was downed or something, but a refrag coming out nice and quick there from the player of Little Dark in the pillars. A 4v4 situation with 1 minute 40 left on the clock for Counteract. Looking for that full top floor roam clear. Completely getting all the roamers that there are off the board and then deciding to push down into sight. So far they managed to do it as all the remaining members of Expansion are situated down on the ground floor or in sight. Of course, the Jaeger of the only room is actually playing in this VIP section here, hoping to try and pick up one of the members of Counteract if they do not drone this area as successfully as they would maybe hope to. A C4 by the sounds of it coming out onto its shot, not quite fully connecting but managing to do about 50 to 40 points of damage to him. Health that he might need later on, but for now he certainly seems healthy enough. As we see Weasty rotating into the kitchen and opening up the big main wall. Just misses the head of Jaeger though at the far end as he pushes in. That was almost bad timing, but fortunately only walks away with a tiny bit of damage as the only room misses his shots on that long angle. The call will have come out that he is playing over towards this end, so will the Counteract put some bodies down here to take him out, or will they just be like, you know what, he's playing over there, we'll wait for him to rotate back to site and we'll take him out at that point. Weasty now and the Thermite deciding to go and open up this red stairs wall, give them a bit more control looking into this kitchen service site. Weasty with the diffuser as well will be the one going into site trying to get this plant down. Currently discussing exactly what they're going to do and when they're going to do it, and there we go, the Little Dark watching on that flank as the Jaeger comes back into sight and manages to pick it up. It's shot as well, collecting the head of Keen Frank. Unique getting the head of Johnson D'Souza, currently leaving it in a 4v1 situation. Will Plasma be able to clutch this one out? He's behind Harple, downs a member of Counteract. And there we go, Counteract going off in the face of Little Dark. There's a little bit of health left as Plasma lands shots onto shot, pulling him out of the game. Unique is back up, but he's only on 20 hit points, as it's currently a 1v3. But time is ticking, the planter is down. Counteract just have to play on the defensive. They can let Plasma come to them, trying to get this defuse off. Pre-fire coming out there from Little Dark, not quite getting it, but in the end, on the repeat, manages to take Plasma out of the game. Another well-played round there coming out from the side of Counteract. Put some 3-0 on the offensive. Both these teams playing very well so far. Of course, it looking a little bit more one-sided than we were maybe expecting. But we may see Expansion get the momentum that they need later on in this game, which will allow them to push on and get a few rounds on the board. Deciding though on the side of Expansion that they're going to go back to the top floor into Bar and Cocktail Lounge to see exactly how this will work for them. Of course, Counteract know exactly how they're going to push it, but will Expansion be able to change up their attack in some form? Or should I say Expansion change up their defense in some form to counter the attack by Counteract? Now that's a bit of a mouthful, and hence why I slowed it down, otherwise I would have absolutely messed it up. Well, like I say, top floor coming out here again. A sneaky 6th pick from the Mozzie onto the Malusi from Key and Frank, meaning that they will now have those Vive alarms in place, as Marley likes to call them, alerting the defenders to the presence of an attacking person and also slowing them down by, I believe it's around like 50% or something as they walk past them. Has a similar effect to barbed wire and also to Clash's stun, but of course it's localized in 3 devices that can be placed around the map on any surface, like a bulletproof cam style thing. And here we go as Melusi places one down for our viewing pleasure in Freezer, right there, right next to the rotate. When you get in with a certain radius of that, that will start buzzing like anything, giving you some super low base. And from that it will alert the defenders to the location / presence of an attacker pushing into the site. Seeing the members of Counteract, going to the top floor again, as said before. On the side of Expansion though, they now have 2 players that they're investing to the 2nd floor site, and actually 1 player being invested all the way down into Small Bakery. What's maybe being expected here on the side of Madgun is a run out from the bakery. Of course, if he gets droned out here, he's not watching the cam anywhere near him, so he could get picked up. Kian Frank, though, with that not with the 2 times, sorry. He's got the 1 times. Looks like Connor tried to push him from the pillar's doorway, and his head was taken clean off by Kian. A nice opening pick for Expansion there. Counteract deciding to do a little bit of a different push this time. However, it hasn't played into their hands so far, as it's actually meant that Expansion now have the upper hand, being in a 5v4 situation. But with still 1 minute 40 left on the clock, there's still plenty to play for, and as we saw from the very first round, Expansion may have got ahead in that one, but eventually Counteract were able to win it out. We see Weasty once again playing on the Thermite, managing to get that red wall open and taking Cigar Lounge control. There are still 2 players on the side of Expansion playing below there, and both of these do have a C4 in play. Valkyrie currently rotating up the red stairs, getting a bit closer back to site, currently watching for those flanks on the main stairs. Apologies if there is any stream stutter. Hopefully for the guys playing the game there isn't too many issues while we're playing through this. Of course, Madigan looking for shots, and 3 kills coming out very quickly on the side of Expansion. This is turning very much in their favour so far. Looks like the push not coming out in quite the same way on the side of Counteract, actually not proving that fruitful to them. They decided to try something different, but unfortunately for them, it hasn't played dividends so far, as they are now in a 2v5 situation. Weasty and Little Dart being the ones left on the board. Little Dart putting up the numbers so far, going 4, 2 and 1, and Weasty also doing his part, collecting the kill when required. However, if they want to go for the plant here, then Weasty will have to get some kills, as he starts by picking one up so far. There is a goo mine that he's about to walk over. There we go, as it goes off, but he also sees the head of Melusi. Doesn't quite manage to land the shots on it, but certainly does a lot of damage to it. Now in the last 15 seconds, and Counteract have to execute onto the sites here, try and get the round win. Shots coming out from Freezer, but the only room gets a double kill, taking off the head of Little Dart. As Weasty pushes in, collects 2, but unfortunately isn't able to get the Legion in time, who was prone on the floor. Pistol out, collects the life of Weasty, and puts the first round in favour of Expansion. A different play coming out from Expansion this time, putting a lot more members on the roam on the lower floors when they were playing top, resulted in them getting the man advantage nice and early, and a couple of rough peaks and badly lost gunfights on the side of Counteract puts them now at a 3-1. They still have the advantage so far on this attacking side as we head into round number 5, but it certainly might swing that momentum slightly more in favour of the Expansion side, and if that is the case, they may be able to get a few more rounds on the board, and we may see a much closer scoreline by the time we get to the end of this game. Kitchen service and kitchen cooking being the sites that Expansion are now going back to on the ground floor for round number 5.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
For those of you in the stream so far, how is everything holding up on your end? Is there any stuttering on any parts of it? Have we got good quality, bad quality? Do let me know, as, like I say, it seems to be a little bit iffy tonight compared with other streams I've done. So your feedback would be greatly appreciated. How many people do we actually have so far in the stream? Let me just check. Only 4 people in at the moment. But hopefully we get a few more as we continue on throughout this game. Once again, the Malusi this time being bought out instead of the Capcan, being bought by Kian Frank, being able to get the early pick in the previous round, of course, proved dividends to his team, as they were able to eventually win out after a few more kills being netted. Echo once again being bought for that intel on the side of Johnson Sousa. Of course, Echo drones now being fully visible at all times, no longer being invisible when they're on the roof. However, if they're not spotted out, they can still be a massive threat, they can still be good plant denial, and they can also be played basically just like a normal attacker's drone, but of course on the defensive side. So far we just see Counteract taking it nice and easy, getting drones in where required, and doing a complete top floor clear, I believe. Yes, you have the Maverick playing on the very top next to the hatch. Got the Nomad and the Thermite playing close to Bakery, looking like that's where the push is going to be coming from this time, and Zofia and Ash both outside on the second floor. Not much to be looking out for though this time on the side of Expansion, nobody really being on that roam too aggressively, everybody being on the first floor only, down in the site itself, and a couple just outside. Of course, the Castle playing in Bakery at the moment, and also the Legion playing in Closet, but gets punished by Connor, who has pushed down those red stairs and taken the red corridor control. Well played by Connor to get that nice early pick so far. The Goo Mine revealing his position though as he starts to pull out his leg. Will the Castle push up? Will the Castle just play here, hoping that he hasn't been spotted? A drone now spots him out though, so he has to move from this position or probably lose his life. We see possibly expecting there that the Castle had moved out of that position, but he's still stuck here behind this fallen over chest of drawers, so unfortunately loses his life as he pushes in with a flashbang in hand. Nomad pushes in this time though, pre-firing that angle and takes him off the board. It is now a 4v2 as shot somewhere up above manages to get a kill. Seems to have been playing a long angle from above and gets the kill onto, I believe, the Malusi playing below in Freezer. Now deciding to jump out and rotate round into the Bakery with the rest of his team. Connor's pushed up deep so far into the prep room. Currently got that control, leaving the diffuser outside, or attempting to leave the diffuser outside as Unique just heads in. Connor taking a lot of damage there from Johnson, who's really close, but a panic knife from Johnson means that he doesn't quite manage to land the kill, and it's now a 3v1, now a 2v1 situation, as Counteract once again face off against Plasma, who is playing in this half-wall position. The plant starting to come out on the side of its shots, who is now in the kitchen service, as a swing from Little Dark, and a nice pre-fire managed to collect Plasma, and puts round number 5 in favour of Counteract. Currently putting them at 4-1 on the scoreboard. Hello everybody, welcome back for those who are just joining back. Apologies for the slight issue early on with my stream. I don't quite know what happened, but unfortunately we lost connection for a short period of time, but we are now back. For anybody that was watching previously that you might know, feel free to drop them a quick message, say, hey, the stream went down, but it's back up. Come over and watch some good Siege, because so far we are seeing some very good Siege coming out from both of these teams. Counteract certainly seeming like they have the measure of Expansion so far, but Expansion also showing that when they win their ones, when they win those gunfights, when they hit those heads, they can be quite the effective team. Of course, winning round number 4 quite convincingly. Goodness me, I struggled for a second there. Winning round number 4 quite convincingly. Of course, getting the early picks, and then able to finish up with a couple of nice follow-up kills, and eventually securing the round with a prone Legion in the freezer. The way that all rounds should be ended. Expansion though, after having lost the downstairs site but not having the top floor site currently available to them, decides to go into the kitchen service, kitchen prep site once again on the ground floor. Will we see a bit more of a roam coming out from this time? Because I think if they maybe went on the roam in the right locations, they could punish Counteract somewhat. Counteract, though, proving that their drone work is pretty spot on so far. So maybe the roam isn't the idea, but it's certainly something that they could maybe try. It certainly worked for them on the top floor hold, and as I say that, we see the only room rotating around these red stairs. Maybe deciding better of it, though, and coming back down to the ground floor. Just managed to making it through before that barricade goes down. Oh, and gets an early pick onto Connor, who just pushes into bottom white. Obviously, the intel was not there that the Jaeger was coming through the bar and swinging onto that white corridor. Connor was really on his own there. maybe a drone not even in there. Maybe that would look like a pretty bad play from him. Maybe not having the intel required, the deep intel, to know that that door wasn't about to be swung. The timing, of course, was very Siege-esque, and unfortunately meant that the Siege timing screwed him over there somewhat as well. Currently, Connor, of course, being one of the top players for his team, currently being top of the leaderboard with 6 kills, 4 assists and 5 deaths. He's died the most so far from his team, but he's certainly been putting the numbers down, both by damaging players but also killing them outright. Once again, Bakery being taken by Counteract here, looking like this is where the push is going to be coming down. Its shot's been constantly running the Maverick so far. Looking for that Echo drone at the moment that is currently playing around in prep, but also going to be opening up that wall a little bit to maybe hook a grenade in there to get the mute device off of the wall. Does it quite do it? Yes, it does, it seems. I can't quite see. There we go, yes it is. So Weasty now pushes up to start opening this wall. The thermite charge is now prepped and ready to go, so they open up the Bakery wall. Legion, though, has taken the advantage of the numbers to actually get onto the top floor and is now roaming down towards White Stairs, which is where we see the Ash of Little Dark playing around the VIP area. He's looking in the wrong direction. If Madgun times this perfectly with his swing down at the bottom of White, he might be able to pick up a kill onto the unsuspecting Dark. However, if Connor is watching that drone, then maybe the intel has been given that he is on the flank. Madgun maybe sees this Claymore here, expects somebody close, doing a slow push-up though. The Little Dark maybe doesn't realise that he's there so far. Pushing up, but the call has come out and Little Dark has swung around to watch onto the VIP. And he takes Madgun off the board, evening the scores with 40 seconds left on the board. Little Dark going upstairs to play the vertical angles now as he waits for the rest of his team to try and push on into sight. Also gets that mute jam off the wall, allowing Weasty to open up this red wall, opening up that kitchen a little bit more, giving them a bit more control into there as Unique scores a headshot onto Key and Frank. Weasty just running in and going for it, starting to get that plant down as its shot is down through the breach. Unique though pushes in, getting another kill. Connor's disconnected. Unique with a triple kill, triple headshot. Let's go Unique. Last one remaining on the board is Johnson Souza. Unfortunately, those Echo drones not being in play to deny the plant, and Little Dark picks up the kill against him. A pause has been called on the side of Counteract, so once we get into the pick phase, one will be called. There may be some issues with the server by the looks of it. I'm certainly having some frame rate issues, some lag issues, so we may have to do a rehost here. Timer is paused. We'll see exactly what happens here, whether it's just a pause to let Connor join back in, or whether a rehost is called by both of these teams. Hopefully it's just a spectator-ended thing, and I'm the only one that's having any issues here, but we shall see shortly when the two team captains get back to me on this one. So far, fair enough. It sounds like he had the FPS glitch, so he's just had to restart to make sure that he wasn't stuck at about 20 to 30 FPS for the entire game. Would not be a good advantage. Well, would not be an advantage to him, would be an advantage to the enemy team, and would certainly put him and the rest of Counteract at a disadvantage. Maybe that's what he's going to use as an excuse for how he died so early on in the previous round. But we will have to wait and see, and wait for him to connect back, and then we will get underway with round number 7. Counteract currently sat one round win away from getting onto match point for the first map of this best of 2. Of course, if they manage to secure this one, then it definitely confirms that they will get the 1 point at the end of this best of 2, because even if Expansion are able to pull it back on Villa, which is the second map, they will be able to walk away both with 1 point apiece. However, with the first win on the board, it definitely confirms that they will be getting the 1 point. As I've just said, I'm repeating myself to fill the time. But hopefully if they're able to then win the second map, they will walk away with 3 points to their name, which will push them further up the league table and the leaderboard, because they currently sit somewhere near the bottom due to having to give up one of the free wins that was given to them by Team Lethal not playing a game. However, Team Lethal was also removed from the league at that time due to basically not wanting to play. So because of that, the 3 points that had been awarded to them for the win were then subsequently taken away, which has now pushed them further down the league. So they want to win to basically make up for the one that they lost against Team Lethal. And if they are able to do that, then it will certainly help their bids of getting in the top 5 by the end of this season. We're currently on week 4 of 9, as it will take 9 weeks for all the teams to have played each other once, and at that point the league table will be set. First place will move straight into the grand final, with teams 2 to 5 going through into the playoffs. The playoffs will consist of a excuse me. The playoffs will consist of 2nd v 5th and 3rd v 4th. And the winner of those 2 brackets will then play off in the semis to then face the first positioned team in the finals. The loser bracket will be played to decide who is better of the 4th and 5th placed teams, just to get some more siege in there. But unfortunately for everybody else who is placed lower than 5th in the league, they will be playing no further games for this season. Hopefully, though, those playoff games and also the final should only take 2 to 3 weeks to be played, and then with a short little recess before we move into the next season, it will hopefully give time for all teams to have a little break, maybe change up their rosters a little bit, and then prepare for Season 2. Anyway, round number 7 here, with Counteract currently leading 5 rounds to 1, as we see. We're round number 7. Roles have swapped. Apologies, everybody. I'm not paying attention. We now see Counteract on the defensive. I completely blanked that from my mind. Yeah, now we see Counteract, of course, finishing that first attacking half very strong, finishing 5-1. Not the strongest position they could have been in if they'd managed to win it 6-0, but 5-1 is certainly nothing to shrug about. And if they have good setups here on the defensive and get those early picks or play this very well, which I certainly know that they can do, they should have this one in the bag, only needing to secure 2 rounds to guarantee themselves 1 point. Well, as long as we don't see overtime. If we don't see overtime, all they need is 2 rounds to secure themselves 1 point. However, we shall see what is to come their way by the end of this game. Weasty being put on the Valkyrie here, leaving drones around, cams around the map. 1 still left in the pocket, being thrown out there onto the wall above the lamp. Of course, using the light in this game to hopefully mean that that camp can't be seen too easily. Now, who's playing upstairs? Is that Little Dark? Yes, it is. Little Dark on the Jaeger here, so far popping off a little bit, 7-2, proving that he is a valued member of the team right here. Is playing at the cocktail balcony. Currently drones coming out on the skylight. Oh, do beg my pardon. He sees the drone drop down. Does the drone see him? Yes, it does. He's now been called out on his position. He's playing up close to skylight though, trying to get the head of Zofia. Hopefully they didn't lag like I just did then. But unfortunately no shots landing on either side, so both of these players walk away with all their health bars intact. Zofia looks to be doing a solo top floor clear, as we see Ash going into VIP and the rest members of Expansion taking this kitchen side. Headholes being left in the wall here though, so kitchen can be played a little bit aggressive. And as I say that, the solo Zofia gets taken down by Little Dark. Very well played there, Dark. Managing to, of course, get her stuck in a position, using intel maybe from other friends of his. But a push coming in now on the bottom of red means that Johnson D'Souza manages to kill Connor in sight. But a trade, I believe, coming out as Unique is downed. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Unfortunately, I missed that one. But 2 kills now falling the way of Counteract, as it's now in a 4v2 situation. One of those 4 is currently down though at the bottom of red stairs, not really in a position to be safely picked up, unfortunately. So it really is just going to be a 3v2. Counteract should definitely leave the player to bleed out here, or use it as a bit of a bait against these 2 remaining members of Expansion as they push into Bakery, sticking together as best they can to get the kills they need. Headshot coming out onto Weasty Bins from Kieran, but Little Dark managed to collect the double kill and taking Lion out of the game. Picks up Unique as well, so it's now a 3v1 situation with Plasma being stuck in the Bakery. There's a rotate open behind him. Will one of the members of Counteract swing around to get onto this? Doesn't look like it. They're all just holding angles in sight, playing time, and there you go. Little Dark from the headholes made at the red corridor, collecting the head of Plasma in Bakery as he pushes towards that breach. Counteract now find themselves on match point, 6 rounds to 1 as we head into round number 8. Will we see a well-constructed defence coming out of Counteract, as we just saw in the previous round, resulting in them walking away with the win right here, right now? Or will we see Expansion managing to get some momentum back behind them and get another round on the board as required? So far, certainly Counteract showing up a lot. Little Dark definitely being one of those members of the team that is doing his part. 10 kills so far with 3 assists. 6 for the rest of his team, apart from Weasty, who's down at the bottom, but certainly from the very opening rounds, Weasty was playing on that Thermite, and due to very constructive attacks on the side of Counteract, he was just left to plant in sight, or there was no bodies left alive by the time he got in. So we didn't need to get any kills, which is exactly what you want happening. Your fraggers and your flex pushing into sight, getting the kills, leaving your hard support to just drone you in. Don't necessarily get the kills, but still a vital part of the team, and obviously good calls probably coming out on the side of Weasty, meaning that the rest of his team have been able to pick up the kills and score as they have. Do beg my pardon, I had a bit of a cough, a bit of phlegm in the back of my throat. Oh, I need some more water after this. There will be a short break after this game, whenever we finish it, to allow me and the rest of the team to have a short break, so that we can head into the second one nice and refreshed and all ready to go. Little Dark taking a little bit of damage there, not quite sure where from. Don't think it's from a spawn peak, it's too early on in the round for that to have happened. Maybe he walked in front of somebody while they're opening for rotate. Maybe took a bit of a shotgun blast to his leg. Connor, though, and Little Dark playing all the way on this ground floor, hoping to maybe pick up a few kills, depending on how exactly Expansion decide to clear this. But 4 of the members just opting to go on the rappel and going straight to roof towards that electrical and red hatch. The last remaining member of Expansion being the Lion, going on the east rappel by the look of it at the moment, putting a claymore outside the white runout. And about to go on the east rappel. Little Dark, though, getting a nice little early pick onto the Oni room. Not quite sure exactly where that came out. I didn't quite see. It looks like maybe the Oni room had pushed in as Ash and was heading up. I have no idea where she died. God and Dark for killing her somewhere where I have no clue. Anyway, back to the action. We now see 3 members of Expansion playing on this rooftop with the hatches open, getting that drone work in there as required. Does seem like, though, yes, Connor has been able to net himself a couple of drones playing on that Mozzie. These could prove crucial later on, providing that necessarily intel for him. Connor, you do not want to run out that window. There is a claymore waiting for you. It's not worth it, Connor. Connor, don't do it, Connor. Hear me. However, Lion is on it. Will he be able to collect one of these players as he does the run out? If, of course, he decides to in the end. Johnson D'Souza from the hatch managed to get it. He runs out, he goes for the shots, but he doesn't manage to collect a kill before that claymore that was placed by the Lion managed to pick him up and take him off the scoreboard. Now left in a 3v4 situation with one of their members, Unique, not being exactly on the best of health, as Johnson D'Souza pushes up into the freezer, taking out the Mutes playing in there. It's Shots manages to come behind, though, and lands a kill and a down onto the Nomad. He's playing aggressively here. He now knows that the line has dropped as pre-fires come out. Ping's coming out as well. They have the intel required. He's just going to play it cool here. They have time. But Madgun now trading Dark. However, does the call come out that he's downed? Maybe it does. Bad shots coming out from Little Dark. Somehow manages to win it, though. Oh my goodness. Pulls the pistol out. Finishes off the Lion. And with both the other remaining members of Expansion being left downed on the floor, he manages to clutch it up in a 1v3 situation. Very well done there to its shot. Somehow coming out on top in that gunfight. I'm not quite sure how, but critically securing the round for Counteract, which secures them the very first win of this best of 2. They have guaranteed themselves 1 point. Hopefully they come away with 3 at the end of this if they get the next win, but that's where we will be going to Villa, and we will see exactly what that scoreline brings us. Thank you, by the way, Active ZC, for the follow. Greatly appreciated. You love to see it. Thank you very much for that. Now there'll be a short, maybe 10-minute pause to allow me to go grab a drink, because goodness me, my throat is burning, and also to give the teams a little bit of rest before we head into the second map. We'll be back with you all soon, but for now there's just going to be a few minutes of silence while I go grab some water. But feel free to nip off and do something yourself and come join us back in a little bit. Thank you, IR Wilson, no, H Wilson, apologies, I misread that. H Wilson 10, thank you very much for the follow, greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you for tuning in. As I said though, we're going to have about a 10-minute break hopefully, where I'm going to go get a drink because my voice is going. But we'll be back soon for some more Siege as we head into the second map, which will be Villa. Thank you all for tuning in so far, and if you haven't already, please do drop a follow. It's greatly appreciated, and I'll be back with you all nice and soon. Right, everybody, I am back. Just a couple more minutes left before we can head into this second map of Villa. By the looks of it, both teams have swapped around as Expansion have decided to begin on the attacking side here. So the attacking side is going to be blue, and in OT we are going to be seeing, I believe, well, if we get there, we are going to be seeing... Oh, goodness me. They didn't pin it to the chat. I've got to find it. There you go. Counteract will be defending Villa on OT. So, that should be everything set up and perfectly and ready to go. Cool. Everybody is up and ready just about. We're just waiting for a few more players on the side of Counteract to be ready. There is a 10-minute allowance in between games, so... while we wait for that allowance to be up, people are doing their best to, of course, have a little break, have a drink. I've certainly gone and got one, because my voice is going a bit throaty at the moment, so I do apologise if it gets worse throughout the stream. Hopefully I'll be able to keep it together until the end, but only time will tell on that one. Chances are, no, my luck, it will go at a really critical point when I'm trying to make a brilliant call out, do amazing casting, and then just... I'm just dying in the background. If, of course, I do start to die, please... somebody call 999 or something to get the to get me seen to, but hopefully it doesn't come to that and I will be fine for the remainder of the stream. Thank you everybody for tuning in so far. For those of you that are currently watching, thank you Walsh225 for following, greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Sorry I wasn't here when you popped that follow in a few minutes ago, but thank you very much for joining us and following me. So far we're now at 55 followers. I managed to hit my goal of 50. So we're now officially Twitch affiliate. Thank you everybody for following so far. It's greatly appreciated. In a couple of the streams moving forward to help sort of alleviate the boredom, for those of you that don't have ad block anyway, I may be running sort of mid-roll ads in between some of the games when I do my casting. Of course, if there isn't too much to talk about or I need to take a break, certainly when I'm doing the solo stuff, it's useful for me to have like a 5-minute break before I get back into it. Get myself a drink, get my vocal cords nice and loose, so I can continue for the remainder of the second map. Of course, excuse me. Of course, if you do have ad block on, you won't be able to see the ads, but of course, if you don't, then please, well, I don't think you get a choice if you're in the stream whether you get to watch them or not, but of course, it really helps me out, and maybe at some point it might mean I might be able to do this a bit more permanently, a bit more often, whether that is actually the casting side of things, or whether that's just streaming. Either or, the fact that you guys are here following, you are viewing, and if I end up running ads in the future, it will greatly help me out. So thank you everybody for tuning in so far. Just one more minute left until we should be going into this game. Once the timer hits 20 minutes, we will be going in to a map number 2 on Villa. The first map was taken 7-1. Was it 7-1? Or was it 7-2? I believe it was 7-1. It was taken 7-1 by the side of Counteract. Expansion not quite being able to have it right at the very end there. It came down to a 1v3 clutch situation, but fortunately for the side of Shot, even though his aim was a little bit off, he was only against one player because the other two remaining members of Expansion were down on their arses, one of them being Zofia, but with her having that withstand ability removed, she was no longer able to pick herself up and cause a nuisance at the end there, meaning Shot was able to clutch it out and secure the win for Counteract. Now though, as the timer has gone past 20 minutes, the 10-minute break is now up and we are heading into game number 2, Villa. Let's go. Just needed to loosen up my vocal cords a little bit, so I've just had a tiny little quick shot of something slightly better than water, we could say. I won't tell you exactly what it is because I can't remember exactly what the rules are about talking about like alcohol and stuff on stream, but by the fact that I've just said the word alcohol, you know it was something that was maybe a little bit more adult of me. Because would you believe it, I am actually one of those. Anyway, as we go into the Villa map here, the first ban coming out on the side of Counteract is the Capital ban. Unfortunately, this time I haven't really seen either of these teams play on this map, so I don't quite know exactly how they're going to be playing it, and exactly what their strats are, what things they're scared of. But certainly, taking the capital off the board seems that they may be counteract or countering something specifically that they've maybe seen expansion play in other tournaments. The Nomad being banned off on the side of expansion, who are starting on the offensive, of course, helping them maybe with those runouts. And certainly in the previous game, you saw them get slightly punished by the Nomad, who often had her Nomad charges on some of those rotate doors. So when they did try to go for the roams in some of the rounds, they unfortunately weren't as effective as they might have been, as the Nomad just flung the player across the room and stopped them from rotating. It also gave that sound cue to the attacking team, which of course resulted in them going, "Oh, there's someone on my flank, I'll go shoot them," which often happened. The final two bans coming out are the Mirror and the Malusi. Of course, Malusi having been a bit of a pain in the arse for Counteract on the previous map, being bought out quite often on expansion side instead of that Capcan. Of course, now she's taken off the board, though, you don't really have to worry about being slowed down by the Wubwubs or the Vibe Alarm, or whatever you want to call it. Thatcher, though, being left on the board means that both of these teams will have easy access to any walls. Cade, though, still being on the board means that there can be some Cade stuff going out there, but unfortunately with Thatcher on the board, Cade is slightly less useful than he would be without Thatcher on the board. Oh, goodness me. I do apologise. Getting a bit hiccupy all of a sudden. Anyway, we see Madigan swapping, six-picking from the Ying to the Jackal. Jackal still being left on the board could prove critical in exactly how we see these defending side, the first 6 rounds playing out for the defensive side of Counteract. Villa is a well-known map for going on some sort of roam with, and Little Dark, of course, proving quite dangerous in the previous game when he was on the roam on the Jaeger. However, this time, with the Jackal still on the board and being bought by Madigan, it will mean that the Jaeger might be more easily countered as expansions start pushing towards site. Of course, if you take that Jackal out nice and early, he's not all that effective. So we'll just have to wait and see how useful he is to this team and whether they can utilise him to the best of their abilities. Like I say, Cade being bought here, we'll see exactly which wall he decides to go for, because the only other... Actually, there is some more wall denial in the form of Weasty, who has bought the Mute here. A double shield being playing here at the top of main stairs. Of course, the first shield being there to maybe soak up a bit of utility, and the second one being there for if the first one falls. However, they are close enough together, and they're both Goyo shields, so well-placed grenade, with there only being one ADS there, could mean that both of these get blown up, and this entire top floor stairs is just covered in fire. We'll have to see exactly what expansion are able to do here as they begin pushing in onto the site. Wamai in play, though, as well as the Jaeger, could mean that a lot more of those grenades and flashes are collected by the Wamai device. But of course, we'll have to wait and see how this is played out. I called that the Jaeger might be roaming on the side of Little Dark, but instead, I can see that firstly, Weasty is playing on a prone angle on red stairs, just waiting for somebody to push up here, but alongside that, we've got It Shot playing with the AUG in hand on this Wamai in the trophy room. A bit of a map clear coming out on the side of expansion. We see the only room playing the sledge here, pushing into the master bedroom. Trying to just get a bit of map control, but with the rest of his players having gone round onto the study side, the Zofia is the only one close to him able to help out. Where's the final member of expansion? Oh, the Jackal is still over on the roam. Meanwhile, the Ace and the Thatcher are working together to get these study walls open. The Thatcher device coming out, and the first Ace is being thrown on the wall. Starts to get that bar wall open. The Goyo moving up close to the door, trying to shoot them off the wall, but doesn't quite manage it. Doesn't want to risk his life too much to the players on the balcony. Beautiful shots coming out there from Cade, putting the Thatcher on quite low health, but the only room gets downed in master bedroom. But Madigan comes to support him and takes the head off of Shot. A refrag though coming back on the form of Weasty. Madigan not able to answer that this time despite him being so close. Sees him push away though to the top of red stairs and decides better of it. He will go for that kill later on. Weasty still currently being the only one playing on the sort of in inverted commas roam. Little Dark though getting a very nice angled shot there. I believe they were on the rappel watching through the door, and Little Dark got them all the way from the back in vault. Zofia has moved around to this 90 window rappel as Unique is waiting for it to come in, and Unique gets the kill nice and easy. That rappel sound of course giving away the fact that she was coming in, meaning she gets taken down nice and easy. Little Dark picking up another kill, leave it as it's a 4v1 as Plasma pushes into study. However, Little Dark once again swinging a corner manages to collect the life of Plasma as he pushes into study. Of course coming out on the side of Counteract, meaning that kill was quite an easy one. Several guns left in the game, although Unique got downs. Not quite a flawless, but certainly well played on the side of Counteract to still have 4 people left alive at the end there. It was maybe not looking in Counteract's favour when the first kill fell the way of Expansion, with Madgun on the side of the Jackal taking that kill. However, with the trade then coming back straight away from Weasty, who had pushed up, it meant that the scores stayed very much in Counteract's favour, and then they never let the numbers go any lower than that as the round progressed. Round number 2 sees the side of Counteract going to Trophy and Statutory Room this time. I just had a moment thinking there, had I got the settings right, because I thought that they were going to Aviator Games again, but I just had a little stroke instead. So don't worry, I'm fine. They have gone to the correct site, and they're currently setting up in the Trophy Statutory Room. So far, Little Dark showing up big for his team with 3 kills on the board. Weasty and Unique both with a kill to their name, and it's shots with an assist there as well. Connor, though, not having played much of a role in the previous round, walks away with no kills, no assists, and no deaths. So at least he hasn't died, but he didn't really see anybody in that game. Meanwhile, on the side of Expansion, only one player being able to collect a kill in that round, which was Madigan on the Jackal. Will he be able to do the same, and will the rest of Expansion be able to pick up a few kills as they prepare their attack onto this top floor site? From looking where the side of Expansion is spawning, they have the Book going out on his own. Maybe not the safest thing for him to be doing, but if he's able to pick up an early kill, then it could prove incredibly useful. But Little Dark on the roam over on this side, of course, if he is at sound queue, the Book coming in and there isn't enough drone work with him, he might be able to pick up an early frag onto the Book. The Book, though, deciding to go on the outside and just wander round all the way over to the side with the rest of his team that seem to be pushing to the master bedroom, bathroom side. Sophia and Thatcher, and I also believe the Ace, sat outside the master bedroom. The only other member of the Expansion team being Madigan, playing out here, about to come up against Little Dark. Shots coming out. He now knows where he is, but unfortunately not doing any damage to either player. Little Dark deciding to completely get out of dodge, especially, but does he know he's playing against a Jackal? I'm not quite sure. Of course, if he did, maybe running away wouldn't be the best of ideas, since the Jackal can, of course, track him. As we now see, I believe, Weasty coming down into this basement, hearing the Jackal with the shotgun over by the barrel. The barrel entryway into the basement. They're about to run into each other. This could be pretty deadly. Madigan sees Weasty there, managed to somehow get the kill, and very unfortunate there for Weasty, knew he was there, but instantly traded back by its shot on the other side of the map, landing a beautiful headshot onto the player that foolishly jumped into bathroom, taking the Thatcher and Johnson D'Souza off of the map. Little Dark finally picking up the head of Madgun while he's on this roam. This time though at the top of red stairs as he pushed up. Little Dark still playing around the red stairs side, doing the best he can. Connor swings the door and absolutely rips the head off of Plasma as he tries to swing it from master bedroom. It's now a 2v4 situation, very much in favour of Counteract. Diffuser is down in the middle of the door. That's maybe not the safest place for you to sit there, Connor. You might get swung. Shots come up this back astronomy staircase as Kian managed to pick up the head of Unique as he swings the master bedroom door. Members of Counteract deciding to get back onto site as the only room has completely gone all the way to the basement floor. Deciding he's going to go outside and rappel up to join his teammate of Kian, who is now in the closet. No wall denial left, or should I say no hard breach left on the side of Expansion, meaning it's going to be quite difficult for them to push into the site here since the wall's not open previously. Connor, though, playing on the floor, manages to get the down and the kill onto the Zofia. Going to get the knife kill on it, though, means that the only room has managed to push up now into the master bedroom, collects the kill onto Connor. It's now 1v2 situation. 15 seconds on the clock, as the announcer just said. Will the only room be able to get it? No, it's shot prone on the floor once again. Collects the head of the only room as he pushes from the bathroom. Finishing off this second defensive round in favour of Counteract. Getting the early picks that they need and then continuing with that advantage as we move on. Trading life for life until right at the very end they finish with the man advantage on the board. Well played to Counteract so far. As we now move into round number 3, we see Counteract going to the dining room kitchen. So far having 2 rounds on the trot. Can they make it 3? Let's see. And can Expansion start to get their attack together and be able to push the advantage on this one? Get around on the board for them and hopefully get that momentum that they need, and they were lacking a little bit in the first map. Moving into this second map and hopefully progressing them on to a slightly closer game than the first one. Hi Franco, good to see you again. How did the first map go? The first map went in favour of Counteract 7-1. It was very nearly 6-2. But unfortunately a 1v3 clutch coming out from the side of Shots, helped by his teammates because they managed to down the 2 other remaining enemies. Meant he was able to clutch it out despite some bad accuracy. So well played on Counteract for that one. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how Counteract set up on this site. Of course, having footholds here from the A site into Laundry. Some teams opt for this wall to be reinforced, some teams opt for the footholds like we see here. On top of that, we also see a castle being bought, helping to lock down that site a little bit more, but also having a lot freer site with some of the walls being left soft and rotates being put in them, allows them a lot more flexibility with rotating around it. And what have we got in the way of roamers? Somebody hasn't destroyed the music. Everybody loves the music. Let's go. Connor playing in sight. Little Dark being on the roam here, but with Frostmat seems like he's going to be playing upstairs, maybe trying to get some early picks as they maybe try and push the vertical angles on the side of Expansion. Of course, we have one Frostmat set up on the master bedroom window on the south side, but also none set up in the closet, but one in the bathroom. No more Frostmats left on the side of Little Dark because the other one is just behind the door here in Statutory. Where is Little Dark hiding? Looks like he was pressed up against the window for a second there. Sees that the balcony door is open. Decides better of it and goes back to his top red stairs haunt. But we'll see exactly what happens here as members of Expansion start pushing into the master bedroom side. Where they have one member, the Ash, that has pushed in Johnson Sousa into the closet here so far. Droned out though means that the sledge gets a pre-fire down onto the Frostmat that was underneath his window, meaning he is safe to jump in. Now opening up the floor, playing these vertical angles. C4's only having one of them on the side of Unique. He currently has it out by the looks of it. Yep, he has it out. He's walking around. He's listening for the sound keys, waiting for the pings to come out so he can throw this up and hopefully net himself a kill. Only one of them being used though, so he maybe wants to get it. Well, ideally he wants to land it as best he can because otherwise it'd be a bit of a wasted item of utility. But if you can even do a bit of damage onto one or two of these players, then it could prove incredibly useful. Ash using breaching charges as well as Sledge's hammer being used to open up these vertical angles. As a C4 comes out, does it come out on the side of Unique? No, he's still got it in hand as he plays below. Now where has Little Dark gone? We last saw him playing upstairs. He's now at the bottom of main stairs as Unique collects the head of Plasma, and Little Dark in the same moment managed to collect the head of Madgun. Weasty makes it 3 kills in the way in Counteract's favour, but Kian managed to get a frag back from the pantry door. Shots coming out from Weasty as he sees the player in pantry through that long angle. It's Shots being left on the tiniest little bit of health, only about 3 or 4 hit points. As the only room is put down on the floor by Little Dark, who had rotated round to the top of red stairs. The only member left on Expansion is very quickly polished up by Connor, who lands a headshot onto him, playing in the pantry. A very decisive victory coming out there on the defensive side of Counteract in that kitchen. Now puts them 3-0 up after 3 rounds, and round 4 we likely see them going back to the Aviator Games room side. Actually, as I utter those words, we see them picking Living Room Library. Maybe picking this off-site to maybe throw off the attacking players of Expansion, who seem to be maybe bringing out the Monty here. Monty might be the player that they need, having that walking, talking drone, giving the call-outs that they require as they push into sight. Maybe just the amount of pressure that they need to start applying onto the side of Counteract to get a bit of momentum behind them and get the win of one of the rounds under their belt. Of course, we'll see how this plays out. Of course, if Monty's taken out pretty early, then, or if he's left in a 1v3 situation, it can be very difficult to win those, as he only does have the pistol and the shield to his advantage. However, a good Monty player working well with his team could prove the critical bit that Expansion need as they move into round number 4 to maybe get themselves with a point on the board before we reach the halfway point and the roles swap around. How many people have we got in the stream at the moment? Let me just have a quick check for you all. Currently have 7 people watching. Hello to all you 7 people. How are you doing this evening? Hopefully you're enjoying the game so far. Do please feel free to drop something in the chat. Say hello. Give yourself a shout out, something like that. I'll try and pay attention to it as much as possible. When we're in the action, I can't really do it, but in between rounds when not much is happening, I can talk to you guys. So feel free to drop me a message, ask me any questions about either the teams, the game, the league, anything, and I'll do my best to talk about it with you guys. The top floor hold looking like it's coming out here on the side of Counteract. Holes being opened up by the castle with that secondary shotgun in the vault, and also reinforcements being used in the games and aviator rooms. So basically it looks like they are still playing the top floor here on the side of Counteract, with castle barricades on some of the door helping secure this site for them. No easy rotate though, so if all of Expansion decide to push up here and trap the members of Counteract in it, it could be very easily done and take those members off the board relatively easy. Of course, if this top floor is not assaulted by Expansion though, then it could prove critical in the win for this site, maybe going in favour of Counteract, as they will be able to play this top floor, play all these angles as required, and deny any plants going down. Even if you are a Monty, if the vertical angle is available, you're likely going to be able to shoot a lot more of that player and take them off the board. Weasty here demonstrating the angles perfectly that they're able to use from this top floor hold. Not one I've necessarily seen before, but a very well thought out plan that they're certainly going to execute to the best of their abilities. And let's see if this top floor hold pays dividends and nets them the win. Now, where on earth is the only room? The only room has pushed into Art Studio on his own at the moment. Droning out. Well, not droning out, he is the drone. He is the walking, talking, shieldy drone. Monty, also known as the Mountain, walking into the piano room and just seeing if he can spot any members of Counteract, so that he can give the call to his friendlies and they can maybe collect the kill. He's pinging the wall for everybody to go around and open it, but it seems the team aren't listening at the moment. Shots coming out from above. Looks like Weasty just unfortunately missed out a little bit. Connor Wilson, though, landing the first opening frag onto Kian through the floor. The C4 being placed on the floor by Weasty here, opening it up, trying to spot some of the players below. Unfortunately for him, though, everybody has now moved off of this angle. But he does now have this vertical angle to be played as and when he requires. He now sees a bit of ace, but a Unique managed to swing the door. I was like, how on earth is he hitting this? But unfortunately, Unique managed to get down from the very long angle being played by, I believe, Madigan. The only room managed to pick up a kill onto Connor, though. Madigan has now pushed upstairs trying to contest the players in playing on the top floor. The callers come out, shots miss onto the castle, and a little bit damage done back. The only room being left on his own downstairs at the moment in not very much health. And with 10 seconds left on the board, this is very much looking like a Counteract win again. C4 coming out on the side of the Cade, blowing up and taking out the Monty. And the final player vaults in through those holes, gets a kill onto Little Dark, but unfortunately needed to get 4 kills in the space of about 4 seconds. Doesn't manage to secure it for his team, and that is round number 4 on the board for Counteract. Very well played. A nice setup there coming out from Counteract, of course, playing those vertical angles into the site below, meaning that they have all that map control that they completely utilise to their fullest advantage. They get the opening frag, and of course they continue with that momentum as they move through the round, keeping them ahead of Expansion despite their best efforts. A slightly slow assault coming out from the side of Expansion, maybe a little bit quicker would have maybe helped them there, especially since if they were going to lose some bodies on the push in, they then did not have much time as a 2v4 to really execute and make anything happen on site. It was sort of a bit of a gung-ho rush at the end that unfortunately resulted in them dying. I wouldn't necessarily say it's boring, Franco. It is certainly one-sided, I will not argue that point, but I wouldn't say it is boring. It's certainly interesting to maybe see some of the plays that are coming out from Counteract here. Certainly in the previous round they were showing that maybe they have a bit more, they had a lot more planned coming out into this game versus Expansion than maybe Expansion did. The Monty board didn't really have much effect. In the end, he did manage to pick up a kill onto Connor with that pistol, but unfortunately for the side of Expansion, not many kills coming their way. A quick look at the scoreboard shows us that yes indeed, 7 kills being shared between 3 members on the side of Expansion, while Little Dark nearly having all of those kills just to himself. So unfortunately, the kills are very much going the way of Counteract here. Expansion may be playing for the frags a little bit rather than going for the plant. If they're playing for the plant, then maybe this would be a different game. But either way, so far they have not been able to get the round advantage that they need or get that momentum going that they would need to start them hopefully on a win streak that would see them maybe have this game playing a little bit closer. Weasty playing on these red stairs once again, holding the prone angle, waiting for someone to push up them and hopefully getting the Madigan, taking a bit of damage though from somewhere. Not quite sure who did that spawn peek on him, possibly the likes of Little Dark. He certainly strikes me as someone who'd be doing it. 7-0 could be expected at this point, Franco. We're not quite sure. We'll of course have to wait until the very end to know exactly what this scoreline is going to be. But right now, it's certainly very much looking in favour of Counteract, as Book now of the only room has pushed all the way into Study, takes out a mute jammer at the top of the main stairs. An angle being held on the Study door though, is the only room going to swing this and maybe try and get a pick onto it. At the moment I think he's just waiting for the rest of his team to do something, which with a member of Counteract playing the door, I believe it's shot. As Book pushes up and takes him out, he's now in sight. Book now in sight, but a red stairs flank from, I believe, Little Dark, yes indeed, takes him off the board and refrags his friendly player, meaning we're now in a 4v4 situation. The numbers are bugged, guys. It's a 5v4, but it's actually a 4v4. What on earth is going on here? If only it was a 5v4 in favour of Expansion, they'd maybe be feeling a little bit more comfortable right here. But with equal numbers on either side and the health points very much being in favour of Counteract, Expansion maybe don't have the confidence that they need, and from the previous round's performance as well, they may be feeling a little bit under the weather on this one, feeling a little bit worried about pushing anywhere, not having that confidence to just go in all guns blazing and get the kills they require. They do have this bar wall open though, so they can actually get in sight other than just the doors, but an angle being played by Connor, I believe. No, Weasty on that shield manages to collect the kill onto the ace as he pushes into Study. Does a lot more damage onto Madgun as well on this main stairs, leaving him on about 2 hit points, so he scares him off for now, but he will be back. Gets a Jackal track onto him, so at least the team know where he is, as Unique picks up the head of Kian. And now it's a 2v4 situation. We've seen this quite often from these two teams. 1 kill going the way of Expansion, but unfortunately, on the side of Counteract, they're just able to get more kills ahead, and currently right now it could basically be a 4v1 situation with Johnson and Sousa being the only one on full health. And as I say it is a 1v4 situation as Unique manages to land that headshot onto Madigan, who was playing on the window. Johnson being left in a 1v4 situation, 5 seconds on the clock, not much able to do as Unique swings the 90 corridor and takes Johnson Sousa out of the game and secures round number 5 for Counteract. That's 5 on the trot now for them on this Villa defence. Expansion looking like they need to get something going sooner rather than later, of course. Counteract, after winning the first map 7-1, have been able to secure that 1 point guaranteed. Expansion, though, right now are sat with no points guaranteed, and if they keep up this performance at this point, they may be going out of this best of 2 with no points to their name. Hopefully, as I say, they can get something going, give us a bit more of a fair fight. Maybe their defence will be just as good as Counteract's on this map, but we are yet to see how this will play out. 5-0 currently being the scoreline as we head into round number 6. Can we see a flawless defensive round coming out on the side of Counteract as they head to Trophy Snatchery Room? Let's wait and see. So far, of course, the predictions being proved quite right, as 15-5 on the Discord server was in favour of Counteract. Some people, of course, having faith in expansion, but so far they haven't necessarily showed up on this map. The only room picking out an Amaru, which I hadn't seen earlier. Maybe that's exactly what they need. A little bit of an effective rush. If he finds the right window to go in through, then maybe Counteract won't be ready for it, won't be expecting it, and he might be able to collect a few kills onto some unexpected members, get his team that advantage that they so desperately need. However, if he does this, if he repels in through the wrong window, he could very easily lose his life to one of the players of Counteract. And of course, from there, would very much put his team at a deficit. Let's see exactly what he does here as he moves in to the building. Little Dark playing over on Study side, maybe trying to get an early kill where he can. Getting rid of some of that debris on top of the Study desk, so that if anybody is in there later on when he's playing around it, he can shoot them in the head and not see a monitor instead and miss it. Donny Room droning in his 90 corridor to make sure that his entry is safe. Looks like he is going to go into this 90 window when he knows it's fully clear. Little Dark playing at the top of red, so he may be close enough to hear the Amaru coming into the window. The Amaru is now in though, and sees the head of Weasty. He's already in on 90, manages to collect Weasty. That's a good opening pick from the Only Room playing the Amaru, getting in and doing his role as required. Of course, as I said, right now that's exactly what expansion need. Get the early frag on the board, get the picks that they need, and from there hopefully able to continue this momentum, maybe get a few more kills. If at this point, if all they do is just refrag members, they will win this round, because they start on that advantage, the one-man advantage so far at the moment, with still 1 minute 40 on the clock. Means that if they push in 1 kill each, they should be able to completely finish off Counteract and win this round. Amaru opting to just get out of dodge, got the early pick, don't want to waste her life away, but I think maybe still playing kind of aggressive would be useful. But Little Dark, hearing the repel in here, starts swinging near the bookcase at the end of 90. Does the Amaru realise that she's being flanked? I don't think she does. A very cautious approach here from Little Dark, and it manages to miss his shots. Oh no, Little! That was not the kill that you wanted to miss, as now the Only Room picks up a double kill and of course gives it an even bigger advantage on the side of expansion. Free fires coming out from that G8, many shots in that magazine. And the wall has been opened from Master, pushing the remaining members of Counteract out of Statutory into Trophy and Astronomy. All playing around together, seeing how they're going to do this at the moment. 3 members all being very healthy though, so how exactly will they be able to do this? Connor picking up a kill onto the Only Room, then picks up the head of King Frank, instantly putting the numbers back in favour of Counteract. Shotso coming out, not able to pick up Johnson Souza on the Thatcher. Swings around there and sees the Jackal walking into sight behind him. It's now a 3v1 situation. Can it shot clutch this one out? He downs one player, shoots the Thatcher, but unfortunately the shot's landing on him, picking him up, and expansion finally managed to get a attacking round on the board just as we go and swap onto the defensive. Amaru certainly seemed to be the player there on the Only Room. He managed to play that incredibly well, getting in early, getting the early pick onto Weasty, playing at the top of those red stairs, following it up with a very good flick onto Little Dark, who of course flanked him on the 90 stairs. Not 90 stairs, 90 corridor. Now that we see both of these teams swap their roles, we see expansion going on to the defensive and Counteract going on to the offensive. I was struggling with my words there for a second. I couldn't speak, but I have now recovered. Well, I was about to say recovered or something, but then I just stopped because I couldn't talk. So, hey ho. I'm just going to have a little quick water break, so bear with me 1 second.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
There we go. Much better. Hydrated. Yes. There you go. Franco, you guessed it might be 7-0. Unfortunately, if you're a betting man, you would have just lost a lot of money, because this one's looking like it might go to 7-1. But you never know, with that 1 point on the board, this might just be that little bit of momentum that expansion need to start getting the ball rolling for them. I believe this was their map pick, so you'd expect them to maybe have something in the bag. Maybe on this defense they're a little bit more together on it. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see exactly how this plays out. But they're coming off a win on their last attacking round. Hopefully this means they can carry this forward into the 7th round and get another one on the board for them. Of course, one-sided games aren't always the best to watch, but so far these teams, although being one-sided, it's not quite as one-sided as some games we have seen in this league so far. When Team Lethal was still in the game, or league should I say, unfortunately they weren't necessarily the best of players. They were still quite new and learning how to play this game to the best of their abilities, certainly in a comp situation, which meant that some teams were just able to completely waltz and walk all over them. Unfortunately, though, they are now out of the tournament, so will not be taking part in this any further. But instead, we see these two teams facing off today of Counteract versus Expansion. Who will win at the end of this one? Not too much to talk about so far as we move into the beginning of this game. Although, as I say that, Connor goes in and managed to pick up the entry kill onto the Oni room. Managed to push up those main stairs and picked off the smoke that was trying to play the shield at the top of the main stairs. Now that shield can be used in favour of Counteract as Weasty runs in, puts his breach charge down, but then it gets impacted off the wall. Of course, you see here on the side of Expansion, Impact's deciding to come out instead of any wall denial. This time, though, the Thermite will go down. And we are now in a 4v3 situation as Weasty gets the long angle onto Johnson Sousa, playing that Maestro back in sight by the couch. The Valkyrie of Madigan playing below, now going for a flank up these red stairs. Will he see Little Dark at the top? He does, but shots unfortunately miss. And Connor, having collected the head of Plasma, secures round number 7 for Counteract, putting them on match point. 6 rounds to 1 currently in favour of Counteract. Will the next attacking round be the last one we see tonight from these two teams? Or will Expansion be able to put up a slightly better defense and walk away with the win on that round? Certainly at the moment, with the way that both Counteract and Expansion are playing, what's the word? The scales are very much weighted in favour of Counteract at this point. Having won the first map 7-1, they're looking poised and ready to do that on this second map, as they're currently sat 1 win away from securing this match on exactly the same scoreline, 7-1, being on match point currently. A lot of work needs to be put in now on the side of Expansion if they want to pull this one into overtime and possibly try and secure themselves that 1 point. Of course, they can only walk away from this game with 1 point. However, the side of Counteract, if they of course do win this final round, well, maybe final round, if they do win this round or win 1 round, they will walk away with the win.
Bomb located by attackers.
And 3 points to their name, which helps them out massively in the entire leaderboard. So we will see exactly how this one plays out. Already, Zodiac have managed to win their game against RZP.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
So unfortunately, after this game is finished, we won't be able to hop across and join in on that one. So unfortunately, once this game is finished, that will be all of today's League Siege done. And unfortunately, that will be the end of this week's League Siege. I believe the game tomorrow may or may not be happening. Actually, don't take that for definite. It may be happening. I don't know. But this is certainly the last game today. I may hop on for some streams afterwards, if anybody's interested in coming and joining me. But I'll see how I'm feeling and exactly what time it is and what's going on. We still have a couple of rounds left to play here, though, as we see Connor getting the opening pick onto Johnson Sousa, managing to push up and get inside nice and early. His shot also getting a kill onto Plasma, playing in the back of what's it called? What's it called? I've forgotten the name. We see, though, collecting the head of Madgun. It was Volt. Connor pushes down and takes out the one hiding behind that bar table, and it now leaves Keen Frank in a 1v5 situation. Is this going to be a flawless round coming out on the side of Counteract? It certainly looks like it, as so far all the members of Expansion are on the floor. And there we go. Connor swings the top of red stairs and secures the final win that Counteract needs, taking this game to 7-1 and finishing off on a flawless round. Very well played to everybody today, but Counteract, of course, proving that they had it all together on the day and managed to collect the win against Expansion. Very well played to both teams. Unfortunately, of course, Expansion just couldn't get the momentum going where they needed to. There were a couple of close rounds here and there, but unfortunately, just didn't have it with them today. A couple of their members maybe getting a bit unlucky in some of their gunfights, not quite winning them, and unfortunately only been able to get one round on the board for each of the games played. This means that at the end of this best of 2, Counteract walk away with the full 3 points that they wanted from this league game. Unfortunately, though, Expansion walk away with nothing. Hopefully some of their future matches go slightly better than this and they're able to get a few more points on the board. But for now, I have been Elemental X6, and you have been watching Counteract versus Expansion from the PS4 Rainbow Six EU League. If you're not already part of the Discord, do feel free to drop either myself or one of the players in the game tonight a message on Discord. I believe my Discord name is the same as this. The follow-up code is... I'll find it for another point. But either way, you can hit me up on... Anytime I'm streaming, you can let me know. You can also follow me over on my YouTube, which is also the same name, Elemental_X6. Please feel free to go over there and drop a nice subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. But for now, I've been Elemental. This has been Counteract versus Expansion. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll catch you next time.